Good night, everyone. Welcome to my broadcast. Welcome to the channel. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Tell a friend, invite a friend to come on over and enjoy the broadcast. Beautiful people, tonight our topical discussion will be on empathy. What is empathy? Empathy, it is the ability to understand and to share the feeling of someone else. Okay? Empathy is also used to describe a wide range of experience. Some of these experience that we often feel is compassion, pity, feeling of concern, considerate, tenderness, kindness, brotherly love, sisterly love, neighborly love, right? Friendly love, you name it. Okay? Can someone tell why do we often practice empathy? Well, we do practice empathy because it helps us to understand what somebody is actually going through, what somebody is actually feeling, right? It tells us why, because we understand, right? And we can see the perspective or the needs or the emotions of others by their actions, right? That's all we know. So if somebody is crying, right, you're gonna feel a part of empathy towards that individual. You're gonna want to know why the person is crying. If somebody is sad, you're gonna want to know why the person is sad. What can you do to cheer them up? So you're feeling a part of empathy for that individual. Okay, we are putting ourselves in that individual's shoes. We're trying to fill that shoes. We're putting ourselves to the side and trying to feel. We're trying to show some kind of compassion, some kind of love, or some kind of consideration towards the situation that individual is feeling at the moment, right? We're trying to cheer them up. If there's any way in which we can help them, we help them. Okay, not necessarily, because some people does not have that sensory to actually per se to help someone, right? So it goes vice versa. So you have the negative side of it and you have the positive side of it. Okay, also empathy it goes very deep, right? Like I was trying to explain a while ago, it goes very, very deep because the mind and the body, it all collides together. So what we're thinking here, as you know, with the brain cells, the neurons, right? It feeds off the sensory, right? Which we feel is a form of empathy towards something, towards somebody, right? There's actually two types of empathy. One is affective empathy, which refers to the sensory of the brain, right? Which sends off messages to each and every individual, right? It tells us how somebody is feeling once again. It's our sensory, right? The cells, the neurons inside, it tells us if somebody is feeling something. We can see it because of the facial expression of that individual. We see it, body language as well of that individual. Okay, the next type of empathy is cognitive empathy. What is cognitive empathy? It is called perspective taking, which is referred to as the ability to identify and to understand the emotions of the individual. Okay, so we're identifying the emotion of the individual. We're trying to get to the bottom of why this individual is sad in order for us to provide empathy, right? Empathy also deals with, it reduces prejudice, racism, because we see that each and every day, right? So when we see those type of things, we try our best to reduce it, in a sense, to try to come to some conclusion, to show empathy for others. As I was saying, right, we have to respect, while I was talking about respect yesterday, we have to respect others, people, ethnicity, okay, or other people's culture or backgrounds, or other people way of life. So if you notice, all my topics are similar in comparison, okay? We also show empathy in so many things. Even in your marriages, you show empathy, because you have to come to some kind of understanding, correct? You have to show understanding to your partners, right? If your partner is feeling sad, if your partner is, does not agree to something, you have to show empathy, and you guys have to come to some resolution based on the situation. All right? Empathy goes way, way, way deep, right? Empathy can be happiness, it can be also be mindful of others' feelings as well. Because, like I was saying, with empathy, we have to show empathy to each and every one. We have to be mindful of others' feelings, right? We don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, because once we start hurting somebody's feeling, then we have to be considerate. We have to go back and we have to assess and weigh ourselves. Was it okay to do this type of way, right? Then once we start to assess and to engage ourselves in the habit of assessing our actions, right, it is actually a form of empathy, because we start to be considerate. We start to think, in a sense, did I angle the situation properly? Could I handle it in a better form? We start to look at other ways in which that we could have dealt with the situation in order to get somebody upset, right? And then that individual take it the wrong way and start to cry and those type of things. We don't want to hurt nobody's feeling, right? And I know that you would agree in certain cases based on what I am saying pertaining to empathy. You might not agree with certain things, but this is my opinion and this is my perspective, okay? Empathy, we all practice empathy. We practice it every single day of our lives. Every day in our regular routine, we practice it, right? And I can say, if we look back on our daily routine, you can see there's some kind of a way in which you delegate empathy, okay? Empathy is also an act of kindness. So sometimes it's good to be kind to others. It's good to be lenient to others. It's good to be considerate. It's good to listen to someone as well. That is also a form of empathy. Listening goes a long way. Okay? And please, guys, remember, spam up the comment section. Please, guys, get interactive. If there's a questions or concern about something that you're not clear on, you can drop me a line. If you do not agree with something as well, you can also drop me a line, right? I always say my platform based on positivity, and not all the while you're gonna agree with what I am saying, right? So it's always good, and I'm open to suggestions as well. So, you know, my topic tonight is based on empathy. We're trying to promote empathy, right? We're trying to be more at ease to others' feelings. We have to watch what we say. We have to watch our actions as well, because we do not want to offend or to hurt somebody's feeling. Because with that subconscious level, with some people, right, you will go, once you go back and you start thinking, oh, you know what, I shouldn't shout at her, as an example. I shouldn't shout at her to let her cry, you know. And then you go back, you start thinking, and you start feeling bad within yourself. You're feeling bad within you, because you're looking at it that you could have dealt with it differently. So that is also a form of empathy. That's where consideration comes into play as well, because you're considering, you're thinking. The brain cells are overworking, it's thinking, it's processing the situation as well. Okay? Also, empathy reduces bullying, right? It does reduce bullying, because at some point we have the ability, and like I said, it all goes back to the brain. We have the ability to know exactly what we are doing, right? So bullying somebody, you can reduce it. You can stop and think, by me bullying that individual, what am I gonna gain? What am I gonna get? Okay, so in order to reduce bullying, we have to be considerate of others' feelings. Root of the empathy is you're getting to the bottom. You're trying to get to the root of, why is this person feeling that way about something? And like I go back to what I was saying early, you're gonna wonder, why is this individual crying? Why is this individual sad, right? So you're showing a form of consideration. You want to reach out to that individual, so you're showing friendly or neighborly love to that individual. Okay, it doesn't matter who the person is, I'm just referring as example, right? Cognitive empathy, we're thinking, we have the mindset, the brain, the sensory, right? We have the mindset to know what we are doing, what we are gaining from what our actions lead us to do, in a sense. How do you start? By cultivating empathy. So how would you start to cultivate empathy? Is to understand what others are experiencing. you're trying to understand. So going back to the root of the cause, right? And like I was saying early on, we have to listen. Listening helps a lot. We have to listen to someone that's expressing how they're feeling inside. We are listening. We're showing a form of interest, right? Sharing identity. Sharing identity means you're thinking of the person who seems to be very different from you or what they are actually going through at this moment. Putting on a human face of suffering is a form of empathy. So your expression, you're showing a form of sympathy for the person, for the individual, right? You're letting them know that you're feeling their pain, or you're feeling some form of support towards whatever the situation is that they're going through. So we're focusing on the whatever the situation arise of that individual. We're focusing on it, and we're trying to listen to what they're saying, and we're trying in other ways and means to assist them in a sense, right? We are to be considerate of others' feelings. We have to be mindful. We have to be respectful to other people's feelings. Sometimes we do things, without thinking. We say things without even thinking, and doesn't realize and understand that we are, hurting somebody's feelings, which is not nice. And then later down the road, when we start reflecting or analyzing or assessing or weighing our actions, then we start feeling a form of remorse, a form of, empathy of the situation, because it could have been dealt with differently. But we act very, very fast on our feelings sometime. And that we have to control. And that goes right back to the mind. And like I always say, the mind is very powerful. The mind is something we have to control, not the mind controlling our way of thinking or our way of ability. So we are to be respectful and mindful of other people's feelings. And it wouldn't hurt to show love, kindness to others. We don't know what people are going through. We don't know. We don't know. But we can use our eyes and we can see for ourselves, because I'm pretty sure, you might have a friend that's going through something, and that friend is sharing their whatever the situation is with you, and you can show a form of empathy towards that individual. Do not assume. Never assume, never judge, because you don't know. You're not in that individual's shoes. You got to put yourself in that person's shoes and start thinking, what if it was me in that situation? We cannot assume. So assume is something that we're doing wrong as well. And when we start assuming, then that's the time when we draw back and we don't want to help. We don't want to give a helping hand, because we're assuming, we're allowing our minds, our thoughts to get the best of us, to control. It's a beautiful people. We have to change our habits. We have to change our way of thinking, the way we speak, our actions. We have to learn to change that. And we have to allow ourselves to control our way of thinking, the way we speak, our actions, the things we do. We have to allow ourselves to do better. And like I said, not your mind controlling you. You have to be in pursuit and in control of your mind, of yourself, of your actions. We have to be sympathetic to others' feelings. We have to show kindness. We have to show love. We have to show appreciation. We have to value people. Not to think that they're less than us. No, they're not. They are humans just like yourself. And put yourself in that individual's shoes. How would you want to be treated is how you should treat others. We have to be mindful. We have to live, love, laugh, embrace life like there's no tomorrow. So showing a form of empathy, you're doing something good for somebody, because you don't know, by you showing a form of empathy or a sign of empathy, how big that can do to somebody, how that can turn somebody around, by just showing kindness, by just showing consideration, by just showing appreciation, by just valuing the person, treating the person like human, just like yourself. We are all equal. The same blood that runs through your vein is what runs through others as well. We might not be the same blood type, but we are human. We're somebody. We're somebody's daughter, somebody's son, somebody's mother, somebody's father, somebody's uncle, somebody's aunt. So we have to be mindful, we have to be respectful, and we have to show empathy. We have to stop assuming things, because when we start assuming things, we are only creating and building nothing but negativity, negative thoughts, negative thinking, and we're allowing the mind to control us. We have to control the mind, not the mind controlling us. So beautiful people, just start showing an act of kindness to someone. And when I say bullying, not because Mary might wear glasses and Mary look nerdy, you're gonna keep bullying that individual. No, you don't. You don't. You have to show empathy. You have to respect that individual. You have to respect that person wearing their glasses. Put yourself in that individual shoe. What if it was you that was wearing that glasses? Would you like somebody to bully you? No. Would you like somebody to bully your child? No. So why is it okay to bully somebody else? We have to show love. We have to show kindness. We have to care about other people's feelings. You are you're not higher than that individual. You might think or feel that way, but that is your opinion. That person is human just like us. We might not have the same height, we might not have the same color, we might not be have the same features, but we are all human. And it wouldn't hurt to be kind to someone. It wouldn't hurt to be considerate to someone. It wouldn't hurt to help someone by just using our eyes, using our ears. When I say use your eyes, because you can tell and you can see when somebody is sad, you can see when somebody is in distress. You can show a form of, that's an act of kindness and a form of interest and a form of consideration. So it wouldn't hurt. And by listening to that individual, but do not assume, never assume. Sometimes when we start assuming, we start lying, we start telling lies, we start to gather up and make up stories because of what our own thoughts are telling us. Never assume, because you never know what that individual is facing. We have to all start extending that act of empathy. It would not hurt. Before doing something, stop and think. Just stop and think. Ask yourself, would I like somebody to do that to me, or would it be feasible doing something that you know in the end that it's not right? To upset, to offend someone. Just be kind. Be kind. We don't know what that individual is feeling or facing sometimes deep within. It's not everybody can control their emotions or their feelings, but it wouldn't mind listening sometime to someone. You don't know, by you listening, you can save that individual as well. That is an act and a form of empathy. Use your reasoning ability to reason out things. Just be kind, be considerate, be understanding, be considerate, extend a little love. Your act of kindness will go very far. You never know. Empathy, very important. So beautiful people, thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, tell a friend, invite a friend over, share the broadcast, beautiful people. It doesn't hurt sharing with your friends. You don't know what my topics can do to someone. It can enlighten someone. And as I said, we might not agree on certain things, and I am open to suggestions. This platform is a platform of nothing but positive vibes, positive energy. And guys, please participate. If you have a question, if you have a concern, if there's a topic that you wish for me to speak on your behalf, you can spam up the comment section. It will be greatly appreciated. So guys, let's start acting, with a little form of, or a little bit of empathy towards each and every one. Start by being more alert, more noticeable, by looking, listening. That can do a lot for someone. Sometimes, people going through a lot. Look at this time that we're facing. We're in COVID. There's, many people lost their jobs. Many people, they don't have a home. They're hungry. Just show a form of empathy. Sometimes there's people, they just need somebody to speak to get out whatever is in their, what's going on in their system, in their head, in their mind. You never know. Just show a form of empathy and listen. Use your reasoning ability and listen. Do not assume. Never assume. So thank you guys. Have a blessed night, and I will see you tomorrow with another topic, okay? Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night, and God bless. Love you guys.